Welcome to Solo Shot First, and today I'm going to be showing you a diorama that I created back in 2019. And I did actually share a previous video of this with my good friend Nick over at Only One Kenobi channel, and he put this video up very kindly, but I just thought I'd do a refresh and run through this again. So just to give you a look at the first floor, this is the trash compactor room. Now, this whole diorama is completely made out of Westfoam, which you can buy in the UK for, you get 4 sheets for I think around about £10. They come in white, so obviously you would need to colour them up. But this one, all I've done is simply, put the grates in the walls, used a darker sort of browny background, and then just sort of done like a sort of a very light black wash. The rubble on the floor there is literally just polystyrene that's just been chopped up and painted, but quite happy with that room. Moving into the first floor, what I've actually put in here is a console. Now this console itself actually came off of it's from the Millennium Falcon, but I think for the purposes of this video, the console actually suits for everything, and that the decals are actually provided by Frank at Diorama Workshop. This came off their old website, but this whole video really is would not have been possible without Frank at Diorama Workshop, because he provides all of the decals completely free of charge, just for you to download and print out. So massive heads up really to Frank at Diorama Workshop. So just moving on, end of the far wall. Moving into the second floor, what I've actually done is you've got some of the smaller blast doors here. So apologies about the light and obviously the background going, but you'll get a better look from in a little while. But that's moving along obviously sort of quite nicely. The flooring, I know people had sort of mentioned this when I was speaking with Nick on the Obi-Wan Kenobi channel, is it gives a really nice reflective look, really very similar to what you actually do see in the films. And this is a product called DC Fix, which in the UK you can buy from B&Q. It comes in a roll. You simply have to remove the back packaging and then sort of very, very gently apply it. It can be quite tricky, but it does actually work really, really nicely and give a nice reflective gloss. Again, now I'm going to have to apologise there because there's an awful lot of dust on there. But that's because it's been sort of sat upstairs for sort of 3 years in a box. Moving into the sort of the back here of the second floor, what you've got is the detention cell block area. Now that is that piece itself is from the Power of the Force line that I bought off of eBay really quite cheaply. But I think for the purposes of diorama, it fits quite nicely in there. And what you've got is you've got the grate there, which Leah blasts off, and then it drops down. Now what I've done here, I did actually just create a slight hole, as you can see that. So it is a working diorama, so if you push that through, figures can drop down into the trash compactor area. So moving on to the third tier, again, gives a nice look at the reflective floors. And then what you've actually got here, it moves along, and we've got some of the smaller blast doors, and these are really, really nice, I think, the way they've come together. They are sort of quite time consuming to do, but really, they are really, it is very addictive once you start doing this sort of thing. But it does look really, really good for the purposes of this diorama itself. And then just moving into another room, and then finally onto the top floor. And what we've got here is the Death Star sort of control room, I suppose, really, if you want, the briefing room, I should say. And that table itself is literally just made out of Westfoam, cut out, obviously in a round circle. painted grey. Camera angle probably doesn't really show that appropriately. DC fix applied on top, and then you've got the decals, which again, as I said, were provided by Frank at Diorama Workshop. Happy with that back wall. I think that's quite screen accurate. However, I couldn't do a curve, which if you actually go on to Diorama Workshop's website, you can see how Frank produced that, and it looks really, really good. However, I'm quite happy with how that's come out. And what I tried to do really here was keep it as screen accurate as possible, not in terms of the size, obviously, but you know, when you actually watch the film, it does have this sort of very grey wall, and then you've got them very, very vibrant, obviously back panels. So I'm quite happy with the way that's actually come out. That just then goes into another hallway, and then you've just got another room on top here. And moving round to the sides, not really much to report here. What I did was I painted those grey. Unfortunately, over the period of years, where I've glued these two pieces together, they have actually warped ever so slightly. However, you know, it's nothing major. It still looks quite nice. And then what we're going to do is move around to the other side of the Death Star, and this basically comes back round to the first floor. And what I've done is created one of the sort of the curved walls. Happy with the way that's actually come out, and the light actually from this side will give you a far greater look, or I should say a better look at the large blast doors. They are 30 centimeters in length, and they've come out really, really nicely. Happy with the way that's come out. And then what we've got is another hallway entrance just into a small room, and onto the second floor. What you've got is obviously another look from the other side of the blast doors. Again, really pleased with that. And then obviously the blast door's closed, and into the front of the detention cell block. And I think that actually comes out really, really nicely, what you can see there. Now, these pieces here, if I can get the camera in there really, these I actually bought off of Hole in the Ground Productions in the US. Now, these are made out of cast resin, so I simply spray painted them with a matte black, and then applied the decals that were very, very kindly provided by Hole in the Ground. So really happy with the way that's come out. Then moving on to the sort of third floor, just another room, some of the closed blast doors, the corridor that obviously moves then straight through, and then you move along to the Death Star, I suppose, the I don't know what you call this room. Is it the Death Star timer room? But I think, again, that looks quite nice. And then we just go onto the top tier. What I've done is created another couple of those panels. And just painted them up and put the decals on. And then we go here into the final room, which is the Emperor's Throne room. And this was the room that I was, I suppose, really least happy with completely, I suppose. But because of the scale and the size of it, I was never going to get it even remotely accurate. So I was just sort of quite happy to settle for how it looks there. And that chair, again, was actually provided by Hole in the Ground. So really happy with the way that that whole thing has actually come out. Let's just scan back, see if we can get. So that is giving you a look, pretty much, of the 4 floors from the one side, and then we shall move all the way back round. And giving you the 4 floors again. That probably doesn't do it justice. I haven't got enough space here. From a size point of view, This is a really big project. The actual length of the diorama is just over 34 inches in length. The height is 24.5 inches and the depth is 17 inches. So it's a big piece, but I'm actually really pleased with how the whole thing's come about. And what we'll do now is we shall just pop some figures in, populate it a little bit, and finish the diorama. Okay, so here we are with some figures, just populating this on that first floor. On this side you've got a lot of the shore troopers from Rogue One. These are all 5 POA. Second floor, some stormtroopers in there. These are again all 5 POA from the Rogue One line. Same here, apart from obviously that front one, which I think is again 5 POA, but it's a Mimban squadron leader, I believe. And you got some TIE fighter pilots. Not quite, again, they're 5 POA, but I'm not quite sure what line they're from. You got the Mouse droid and the Death Star droid. And then in the briefing room, I think that looks really good with those figures in. They're all part of that Saga collection Death Star briefing room pack. So happy with that. It looks good, doesn't it, really? I think with, well, I know it's sparsely populated, but I haven't got any more figures than that. Then you get round onto this side, and all I've done is pretty much the same thing. 5 POA stormtroopers with the Mimban squadron leaders at the front. Exactly the same. You got the Imperial Navy commanders in there, which I think probably looks pretty good. They're actually from the Black series. They are fully articulated. I think we were quite lucky. We got these in the Entertainer, quite plentiful, for about £4 per figure, I think it was. Another 5 POA Death Star droid and mouse, and then you've got Admiral Piat in the background. I think that's from the Power of the Force line, and I'm not actually sure what that Vader line is from, to be honest with you. If anyone can tell me, please let me know. And then obviously the top floor, you've got some more of the Imperial Navy commanders up against the consoles, and the Emperor's throne room. The Royal Guards, I think I'm not quite sure what line they're from. They're all 5 POA. But I'm not quite sure. They might have been. I genuinely don't know. If anyone wants to comment. And then that Emperor Palpatine is the 5 POA one that was released not long ago. Really nice looking figure, that, I think. Really good head sculpt. But just to bring it back, just showing you what it looks like really with some populated figures. Quite happy with that. Yeah, it looks good. So as I said, it's a big beast. It does look good with some figures in. But, and then one final look on this side. But yeah, pleased with how that's come out. Yeah, I hope you all enjoy this video. If you've got any comments, please leave them obviously in the comment section, and I'll answer them if you've got any questions or anything. And if you do hope to enjoy this video, if you could just hit the like button and subscribe, and there'll be more videos coming soon. Thanks ever so much. Bye.